Do it.
Do it!
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's your pal Noms here. And today we're going to talk some good old Call of Duty. Oh boy, let's get into it. So, I played the Black Ops Cold War beta, and I gotta say I was less than impressed. To be honest, I was actually quite disappointed. Now, hear me out. Let me tell you why. Now, I was an avid lover of the Black Ops series back in 2010 to 2012. Black Ops 2 was the last Call of Duty I played thoroughly before just about giving up on the series when I played Call of Duty Ghosts. Yes, I played it for about 4 hours, upon which I ejected the disc and never touched the game again. True story. And at the time, unbeknownst to me, apparently everyone else hated it too. Matter of fact, I didn't touch Call of Duty again until 2019. And I'm sure you can all see where I'm going here. I love Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It had a less than perfect launch, several balance and mechanical issues that needed to be patched, including the dreaded 725 shotgun.
What?
And footsteps louder than Godzilla himself. But within the first 2 months, it was arguably the best Call of Duty of the decade. And once Warzone came along, that just solidified my stance on the game. Sue me, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare is the best Call of Duty ever made. Narrowly rising above Black Ops 2. A stellar campaign, rebooting Old Glory, Captain Price himself, multiplayer with the best gunplay in the series, the best sound design in the series, and arguably the best kill streaks in the series. The game itself looks near photorealistic. It was drop dead gorgeous. It had that grit that I'd expect from a Modern Warfare game. The only real gripe I have with the multiplayer, which has since been rectified, is that the maps at launch were less than stellar. Special Ops, while embarrassing at launch, was turned into an extremely fun, challenging and dynamic co-op game mode. And the complete package is one of the best AAA games on the market today. What I'm trying to say is that Treyarch has their work cut out for them if they want to hold a candle to Infinity Ward's 2019 release with their next Call of Duty game. So how have Treyarch answered the call, rising to overthrow their rival Infinity Ward? Well, they've done so by copying them in almost every conceivable way. Seriously, just copy and pasted from Modern Warfare with the tiniest of tweaks. That's not to say there's no innovation, and I'll certainly talk about that a bit later on, but holy cow, I'm sure this is the first thing everyone noticed when booting up the beta for the first time. Let's briefly run through all of the glaring similarities, shall we? The game's UI is almost a carbon copy in its entirety from the main menu to the gunsmith layout and customization options. Every multiplayer match starts with a more grandiose version of Modern Warfare's opening cinematic cutscenes. The look and feel of the weapons and environments feels very Modern Warfare-esque, particularly the map Moscow, which feels like it belongs in Modern Warfare, not Black Ops. I get the realistic approach they've taken and the grit they've given the game. Black Ops has always had that, but it feels like it's been given the corporate spin. Repurposed while failing to provide the charm that Black Ops has always had that differentiated itself from Modern Warfare. That atmospheric, ominous tone that's less bombastic and more covert in its delivery of real warfare. Not to mention the colourful Black Ops gimmicks and comedy, which I've no doubt will get in Zombies mode once that's released. Hell, the trailer for Zombies looked promising enough. But let me give you the best example. And mind you, this is talking about a very superficial aspect. The game's presentation. Look at the game menu and listen to this music. Why does it sound like a damn disco? What even is this? There's no ominous tone, no atmosphere, nothing unique about the background that gives us a clue into what we can expect from Black Ops, both its story and its premise. This time round, outside of the title. Because again, Treyarch ripped off Infinity Ward. Now let's look at the original Black Ops menu. I'm not even going to speak, just watch, listen, and remember.
who you're working for.
Now tell me that isn't a creepy, atmospheric, captivating as hell video game menu. Dripping with personality. No disco beat, corporatized menu nonsense. Is this not way more original and true to the Black Ops charm that we've all come to know and love from a decade ago? Like, holy shit, it's been a decade since Black Ops 1 came out. Time flies. But now, Cold War just feels more like a corporatized reboot. And speaking of which, that's another thing they've ripped off from Treyarch. The Black Ops Cold War story, or rather the story's premise, Modern Warfare was highly successful, going back to its roots, and telling a rebooted prequel story of Captain John Price and the formation of the Task Force 141. It was glorious. This decision was done because Call of Duty stories, by most accounts, have been very hit or miss in recent years, and overall failing to live up to old glory. Hell, Black Ops 4 didn't even have a campaign. So someone, most likely from Activision, told Infinity Ward to reboot and resell what worked. And though it felt like a corporate move, it was well executed, and it's one I'm glad they've made. But I wasn't expecting this to become a trend throughout the entirety of COD. Silly me. This is Activision we're dealing with. So now, Treyarch is doing the exact same thing, addressing the absence of Black Ops 4's lack of campaign by rebooting old glory of Black Ops 1 and 2, which were excellent campaigns and stories, by bringing back Alex Mason, Frank Woods, and Hudson. And while I'm excited and intrigued to see the boys again, I see another Activision pattern and how they want to progress with COD for the future. When nothing new works, reboot what does work, then milk that dry and then reboot again. In 2030, I wouldn't be surprised if this happened again. However, taking inspiration from what Modern Warfare did isn't all bad. In fact, it provides optimism for a lot of good. And since that's the direction Treyarch seem to be going in, I'm expecting an above-average Call of Duty campaign with characters I actually care about, though I expect it'll be somewhat of a derivative story from the earlier versions, rather than an enhancement in the campaign. I expect excellent customization, and even more than what we saw in the beta when the game launches. There's no pick 10 system, thankfully. It wasn't the lack of customization that worries me, it's the lack of arsenal and options for primary and secondary weapons, and cool unique Black Ops gimmicks. Thankfully, they brought back some of their classic Black Ops kill streaks. It was nice to see the RC car again. It was like greeting an old friend who held a massive grudge against me and upon shaking my hand decided to blow me the fuck up. Also, the game itself looks gorgeous, taking after Modern Warfare's grit and realism, which I again appreciate, but I feel like it came at the cost of some of that Black Ops charm and personality that we've all grown to love. But the detail, however, is magnificent nonetheless, and the sound design is so good it actually might surpass that of Modern Warfare's, which easily had the best sound design in the entire series, perhaps in any FPS game I've ever played. My favorite is the 44 Magnum. Just listen to this.
Losing Alpha.
Clint Eastwood himself would explode in his pants using the Magnum in Black Ops Cold War.
She's sweet.
Now, admittedly, Warzone kinda copied Blackout for the Battle Royale, so fair play to Treyarch on that account. But just about every Battle Royale at this point is trying to capitalize off the success of another game anyway. However, Modern Warfare also added what's possibly the most innovative Battle Royale mode to date, aside from Zombie Royale, because that shit is choice. Plunder was an awesome Battle Royale mode that was centered around your team killing opposing team members and exploring the map for weapons and loot, saving up cash and defending your plunder. And the team at the end of the match with the most money wins. Cold War, once again, needs their own version of plunder. And so they've created Fireteam Dirty Bomb, but instead of gathering plunder, you're gathering uranium and using it to blow up portions of the map. Unfortunately, in true copy-paste fashion, Treyarch didn't fully understand the problems with plunder that certain players tend to have with it, myself included. Don't get me wrong, plunder is fun as hell, but the respawning turns it into an absolute clusterfuck. Meaning you'll wipe out an enemy team, collect their loot, and then they'll descend from the heavens right above you where you killed them, and this time they'll know exactly where you are and they'll want to kill you and get their loot back. And then you respawn above them, parachute down and kill them, and the cycle continues and continues until there's a building full of dead bodies and a ridiculous amount of loot. Like, you try to get ahead in Plunder and in Dirty Bomb, but the fact that the spawning sucks makes it super frustrating. You should only be able to respawn after your team has been wiped, and you should respawn on the ground, not parachuting down to wherever you want. While I like the gimmick of Fireteam Dirty Bomb, and certainly think it captures the Black Ops personality and charm, it reeks of a copy-paste job without much thought put into refining it. To summarize, copying Modern Warfare and its direction allows us to assume we're going to get a solid Call of Duty game, but I get the feeling we're not going to get a very distinguished and memorable one. However, let's talk about where Black Ops Cold War does try to differentiate itself, where it innovates and changes things up. Let's start with the core gameplay. I gotta say, it was a weird adjustment. For some reason, Treyarch decided to remove tactical sprint, the opening and closing doors mechanics, as well as the mounting mechanics too. All of those have been removed from Black Ops Cold War. Now, what I don't understand about this is that Call of Duty is a tactical realism shooter at its core. And with Black Ops, there's a little more novelty mixed in there, but as a tactical shooter, why would they remove features that make the game more tactical, regressing the mechanics from Modern Warfare to make a more streamlined Call of Duty gameplay experience? Now, perhaps it was a knee-jerk reaction to the criticisms levied against Modern Warfare at launch, because there was a lot of frustration with these mechanics and the prevalence of campers on the map. One key area Treyarch have given Modern Warfare a rightful middle finger in is by toning down the footsteps, because when Modern Warfare 2019 launched, you sounded like King Kong walking down the street. However, Infinity Ward listened by tweaking these features to make them most optimal for the game without needing to remove them entirely or regress the game and its mechanics. Black Ops Cold War just said, fuck it, let's not go down that rabbit hole, let's not even try. Let's try to appeal to the people who don't like those mechanics. And while I agree Black Ops Cold War needs to distinguish itself, removing tactical mechanics is not what I had in mind. I was hoping for more gameplay options and tweaks, some cool gimmicks to spice it up and give it that Black Ops feel. If you guys have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. But I'll tell you right off the bat, Black Ops Cold War's multiplayer gameplay-wise felt like a downgrade from Modern Warfare 2019. But a lot of what I said really does just come down to preference. Since this is a beta, I'll tell you straight up, my experience on a technical level wasn't great. Lag was quite prevalent throughout most of my game, but I'm in Australia, and I was playing this on the Xbox One original, so what felt like lag in some instances could have been frame rate troubles due to dated hardware. I'd expect most of you who have played it on PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X or the PC have had better experiences than me, but if you had technical issues, please let me know as well. Now let's talk about some changes to the Call of Duty gameplay that I actually liked in Black Ops Cold War. And bear in mind, I did not play Black Ops 4, so I'm coming at this with very fresh eyes. In Cold War's multiplayer, it actually shows the health on screen for your opponent as you damage them, which shows you just how close you came to killing them if they happened to kill you first. I found myself getting much less frustrated as a result of this, because I didn't have to guess how much damage I had to do that was left. It was right on screen for me, and I only got frustrated when it was quite clear that lag was involved. I hope this feature stays in all future Call of Duties. You even get health on helicopters now, which encourages players to actually try and take it out, or contribute to downing a chopper if they know how much damage needs to be done. If the chopper's health is low, and it doesn't look like it's going to take a zillion years to down the thing, teammates will want to get involved and try to help you down aerial kill streaks. The longer TTK, I think, is another great way for Black Ops to differentiate itself from Modern Warfare. It takes a sidestep rather than a backstep from the ultra-realism Modern Warfare offers, and in my opinion adds a bit more character to the gunplay of Black Ops Cold War. I love that you have a lethal, a tactical, and tertiary equipment, the latter of which is on its own cooldown timer. This added an extra layer to the combat, which I appreciated, and co-op vehicles like dirt bikes and jet skis on the map continue to make vehicles a staple in Call of Duty's multiplayer, which I appreciated. And personally, I thought the vehicles handled pretty well. So all in all, yeah, I'm happy that Treyarch has made some attempts to differentiate itself from Infinity Ward's Modern Warfare gameplay. Like I said before, I just think there needs to be more. Now let's talk about the maps. Like I said previously, I think Moscow was a misfire. I think it looks and feels like a Modern Warfare map. It's smack bang in the middle of a city, and the map itself doesn't have much character that I think fits well with Black Ops. It reminded me of Modern Warfare's St. Petrograd, which I'm pretty sure is based in Russia, With Black Ops, I expected maps with more distinguished and remote locations, like deep into the jungle, high up in the mountains, in an abandoned laboratory or an underground nuclear launch facility, or hell, even the Pentagon from Black Ops Zombies. Places that have a certain covert, eerie atmosphere about them, with more character. Now, most of the maps, I will say, are decent and do fall into this category. Ruka, the map from Fireteam Dirty Bomb, was awesome. It's a deep jungle map that heavily reminded me of Black Ops 1 and 2. Cartel is another decent map set in what looks to be a remote drug factory deep in Bolivia, or Cuba, which is also reminiscent of Black Ops. Satellite is an interesting map as well. It's vastly open sandy dunes on one side of the map, huge open sightlines where sniping is viable, as well as another certain something that I'll mention later that seriously needs to be patched. But on the other side of Satellite is high, windy rock crevices, where close to mid-range combat is viable, as well as plenty of cover and a crashed aeroplane which gives the map plenty of character. Also, let's talk about Crossroads. Now, I love the way this map looks. It reminds me of Array from Black Ops 1. It's a frozen, remote government facility up in the mountains somewhere that really feels like a Black Ops map. However, I do not like the way it plays. Feels like a map made for snipers and little else. Granted, I've only played this map twice, so this is subject to change. Maybe I'll have a warmer impression when the game comes out. Armada is probably the best map the Cold War beta had to offer, which I sadly did not get to play. It looks fun as hell. Multiple ways to traverse the map. Across the water, ship to ship. Multiple battle zones where everything is viable. It's the map I'm most looking forward to checking out when the game is released, but my favorite map in the lineup so far was Miami. This map was excellent. Gunfights can take place down on the streets, on the beach, in the buildings, in alleyways. There's many ways to flank and traverse the maps, achieving the objectives and outsmarting your opponent, but what I love the most about Miami is the character, the neon lights, the hotels. You got a pool area, an upstairs bar. The map looks pretty as hell, and it's exactly what I'd expect from a Black Ops game. It's certainly not something I'd expect to find in Modern Warfare. Now, another thing Black Ops Cold War has done is make some new gameplay modes, as well as changes to existing ones. For example, they've decided to implement a halftime feature for domination, which really baffled me. Like, I understand switching sides in some game modes, maybe like demolition and search and destroy, but domination's meant to be an all-out chaotic warfare mode, where the gameplay is constant, halting only to take the objectives. Having a halftime mode, all it does is pump the brakes on the gameplay and reset the match, meaning if your team has all the objectives, they lose all three and have to retake them again. Sure, it gives the other team a chance to come back into the fight and catch up, but did anyone really ask or want this feature implemented? It's just strange, really. It honestly baffles me. Why would they do this? But alas, let's talk about the new game modes. The first one is Control, and let me tell you straight off the bat, I hate this mode. It's essentially a domination mode with lives, while one team attacks and another defends. Here's why I think the mode is kind of broken. The attacking team is always going to have to be the aggressor. Sure, they can win by killing all the lives on the defending team, but the objective is to control the zones, meaning that they are the ones that are going to have to push, making themselves vulnerable, while the defending team can just camp and take their shots as they approach. And if the attacking team happens to make it inside the zones, like any other zone control mode, the other team can just spam explosives in there and kill whoever's inside, costing them more lives. I think this mode needs to be tweaked ever so slightly, maybe giving the attacking team more lives perhaps, I don't know. Now let's talk about the mode VIP Escort. I absolutely love it. I think Actman took the words out of my mouth when he said that it's a more active version of Search and Destroy because the objective isn't the bomb, it's your squad mate. And sure, it's a one life mode, but there isn't a ridiculous amount of waiting time between rounds. You can actually coordinate with your teammates, and the VIP can help you scout out the map with a spy plane, and allows you to plan accordingly to navigate the VIP safely to the objective. Ultimately, a new and unique game mode that Call of Duty has to offer. Fireteam Dirty Bomb, again, is Treyarch's spin on Modern Warfare's Plunder Battle Royale mode. As mentioned before, but instead of gathering money, you gather uranium planted inside bombs at certain points on the map, and these will detonate and leave those map zones uninhabitable. Now, while Plunder is awesome, it also possesses a ton of problems, which you guessed it, Treyarch copy and pasted right into their carbon copy. Fireteam Dirty Bomb, as I said, has spawning that makes what should be the best Battle Royale mode ever. Very frustrating because every time you think you've gained a foothold and made a dent in the enemy team, some asshole will parachute from the sky right over where you killed them, meaning they will have the drop on you and will likely take their uranium back, only for you to do the exact same thing when you die and respawn, and the cycle repeats again and again and again. And pretty soon you'll have a house filled with 20 dead bodies and a shit ton of loot. Also, there's 10 fire teams. Every time you think you've made a dent in the team, they can just spawn on their teammates and kill you with replenished numbers. It's glorious. Now, I want to bring up balance issues, and I only played enough to identify one. The goddamn sentry gun needs a nerf. It kills you way too quick, its range is absurd. Satellite, as I previously mentioned, is the best example I can give. If someone places a sentry turret on the edge of the sand dunes, half the entire map becomes a near instant kill box. And what's worse is that the game will start spawning you in there with your squad mates, resulting in numerous spawn kills and an aneurysm for certain players. Please nerf the sentry gun. Please. Other than that, I'd say the game is reasonably balanced. Now let's finally bring things to a close. There's a lot to love about the Cold War multiplayer beta. It exhibited nothing short of a solid Call of Duty experience overall, but nothing truly groundbreaking or exceptional. Taking inspiration from Modern Warfare is good for a baseline, but when taking inspiration from other games and developers, you have to build off it, you have to innovate and provide your own unique spin on the idea so people will want to come and play your game. Black Ops is always going to have zombies, and this mode will always draw players in. It cannot be found anywhere else. The Cold War campaign is a rebooted premise with the same characters we've grown to love, but we saw something similar in Modern Warfare, and ultimately the multiplayer, while having a few fundamental differences, ultimately fails to feel like anything but a Modern Warfare clone and a lesser version at that. Its saving grace is the new PvP modes it provides for the player. As we all know, this is a beta of the final product and we have not seen everything yet. Things Treyarch needs to bring in is more weapons, specifically more Black Ops style weapons, unique wacky shit that's kind of retro sci-fi-esque that you'd expect from a covert soldier from the Cold War. And please bring back the Black Ops 1 nameplate customization. It's the best cosmetic customization Black Ops ever had, and more importantly, it fit with the Black Ops personality of being less gritty like Modern Warfare and more charming in its own right. I'm having trouble finding the right words, but I'm sure you guys know exactly what I mean when I say Black Ops had charm. All in all, Black Ops Cold War Beta was a fun experience, but sadly it failed to really impress me and ultimately it was a disappointment. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and consider staying for the outro. Firstly, I want to give a shout out to all of my patrons for your support for the channel. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to support my videos, you can check out the channel's Patreon that I've linked in the description below. Secondly, if you are still unaware, this is my second channel. You can find me primarily on Anomaly Inc. I've linked that channel in the description as well. Noms is where I post all of my gaming stuff. Anomaly Inc. is where I talk about other pop culture entertainment, like movies and television, things of that nature. Check it out if that piques your interest. Thirdly, don't forget to check out the Discord server for this channel. We basically talk about all things gaming, including gaming news, bad takes on gaming, our favorite games to play and why. Check it out at your leisure and who knows, maybe you'll make some friends along the way. And finally, here's one last thank you for staying till the end of the video. You are a legend and I'll see you next time.